Well, Stephen, Natasha, Diddy's ex-girlfriend for hire going under the pseudonym Jane was on the hot seat today under cross-examination, providing more details about her business and sex relationship with Diddy and really getting into her jealousy that Diddy was showing a lot of attention and going public with rapper Young Miami.
The fuck, like he called, we should kick it on telephone and after the main.
Right.
And the nigga be like, matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures, like pictures of this girl, like not the that y'all saw.
Hey, baby, we had a great time. Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are the crack.
Federal court just aired a voicemail in which Diddy calls 50 Cent's baby mama his crack pipe. Now 50 is going viral online, entangling the two in a public dispute that is totally turning this case upside down. The depth of this love triangle and its connection to sex trafficking allegations, freak-off parties, and custody threats for a child caught in the midst were all unexpected. Yes, 50's response is as savage, demonic, and demeaning as one could expect. But this is a federal dispute that began with a voicemail rather than rumors. While 50 Cent generated receipts, Instagram posts, parodies, and private revenge that started with a casting decision in BMF, Diddy remained silent. There was evidence played loudly in a federal courtroom, not merely a private conversation that was surreptitiously recorded.
Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are the crack pipe. That's my new name for you, crack pipe. Or should I call you CP?
The fact that this voicemail wasn't from 2006 and that he was composed and not intoxicated seems to appeal to him romantically. Prosecutors think the lady who received it was Jane Doe, the unnamed accuser who is presently testifying, but it wasn't found in the Bad Boy archives. It was played in court in 22-5, fighting against Diddy in his federal trafficking case. But insiders and social media draw attention to the fact that he has been silent. Jane Doe's claims that she was a businesswoman, a Daphne Joy model, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, and the mother of 50 Cent's son were the final straw for fans.
Balcony, they went all the way, and she let him know that she had a child with someone that he knew. This person did not get along with Diddy.
Hearing that revelation wasn't even the worst part of the court recording, because we all know that 50 Cent and Diddy were deeply involved.
Like so much fun, so much fun. Now go rest up, get in your bag. You know what I'm saying? You got your contract, find a nice little spot, put your mind at ease. And yeah, I had a great...
The word contract abruptly shifted the whole tone. It was now a business pact, a financial arrangement, or a romantic transaction rather than just a moniker or a strange flirting.
October of 2023, where Diddy said to Jane Doe, "I want to spend the day with you," and she replied saying, "You make it crystal clear what you want me for," and then she asked him, "You're going to spend the day love bomb?"
What precisely was this deal then? According to testimony, Diddy was giving Jane Doe $10,000 a month for more than just rent. He was also covering the cost of her furniture, veneers, and clothing brand. According to her, Diddy allegedly did this with several other women under what insiders now refer to as love contracts, so she wasn't alone. However, it was personal for Jane because, as the prosecution claims, Diddy wooed her with intimacy before entangling her in luxury and making her physically and emotionally dependent on him. It got more twisted the closer she leaned in.
Calls Diddy a fuck and says she believes he has bi-curiosity. After the short break, Teeny Garagos asked Jane Doe if she was willingly participating in these hotel nights. She said while no one physically forced her at the time, she was a willing participant, saying, "I felt I had to keep the relationship." She also said that the most affection she would receive from Diddy were on these nights and that she liked the parts when it was just
in court documents. She stated that she was forced to attend drug-related parties, hotel nights that involved sex, and occasionally planned non-emergent evenings with male escorts.
24 hours. Yeah, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity. So set some up for tomorrow night. That last vision we had, that was Dawn and ATL. See you put it together.
Diddy allegedly texted her saying, "You got me on my job. It will never work like that over here. You need to get on your job," she remarked, making sure she understood exactly what her role was. "You've given me no other option. I'm taking care of you," he declared. "I am trying to be clear. I am going to disappear on you," she said, implying that it was her responsibility to look after him and make sure he was happy. He allegedly warned her once more after a freak off went awry, saying, "Watch Thurov over your head with that lovely grin. And if that's still a problem, I don't want to take any action." Despite everything, she remained until the courts forced her to speak. If the illusion ever wavered, Jane Doe was directly asked during cross-examination, "You gladly receive designer purses?" "No, I have trauma," was Jane's answer. "Are you aware of what a Bottega bag is?" Jero said. Then Jane said, "I'm sure you have one." Once more, Garagos posed the same query. "How much does one cost? How much does my body cost?" Jane spat back. They then discussed how her notebooks had already recorded her jealousy of young Miami. She testified that while Diddy treated Miami like a treasure, going on public dates and making appearances on the red carpet, she was being carried in and out like cargo.
Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Koram, and asking if they got along well. She testified that KK actually disliked her and that negatively impacted how Diddy would treat her. She said, "I believe she had strong opinions about me, which influenced a great deal of how Sean also treated me." Now, remember in Jane Doe's testimony how she had said that KK told her to fly to Miami with substances in her bag? Well, the defense team pulled up a text message saying, "It's not written in these texts." Well, Jane Doe confirmed that it did happen, but it happened verbally over the phone.
This explains why Jane's animosity for young Miami was not only emotional, but also based on legal leverage. Diddy, she claimed, exploited their agreement by accusing her of being manipulative and needy, and she was compelled to endure his nights because he threatened to stop supporting her if she didn't. At one point, her voice broke as she talked about trying to use makeup to hide bruises from when he allegedly choked her during a fight. She told the court that despite everything, she still longed for Diddy's attention. But she also said that being in his world was like being in a bubble where nothing felt real. And now everything seemed dreary. In addition to simply inviting her to events, she said Diddy emailed her instructions on what to pack, what to wear, and when to arrive. He allegedly requested that she enlist more people. She continued to thank him, show up for hotel stays, and send him romantic texts. She added that in order to keep them quiet. He offered them incentives, presents, flights, and rent. She also claimed that he was operating what the prosecution now refers to as a freak-off company, which was a network of women who were forced into transactional sex with ambiguous consent. She also claimed that the love contract was real, which she proved in court, and that when Diddy asked her what she wanted, she accepted his $10,000 offer, which amounted to $15,000 a month.
Well, this was not a written contract. This was a verbal contract. You know how you and your man is talking and you asking him for some money to pay some bills. So I guess Jane Doe and Diddy were talking or whatever, and he said, "How much do you want your allowance to be?" And Jane Doe said, "15K. I want my allowance, my monthly allowance to be 15K." And Diddy was like, "No, it's going to be 10K." So they—
Even if Diddy had helped her launch a fashion line and purchased her furniture, she still had to adopt the lifestyle. She stated in her testimony that she and Diddy agreed to host an all-star night where their top 3 male performers would perform in a hotel freak show. She emailed him a picture of pink toilet paper that implied she was having a period, and then started making excuses after saying she wanted to go. He replied, they drafted a 2-year agreement. Don't ask for money again. When those texts were read aloud, the court fell silent. So 50 Cent didn't hesitate when this commotion broke out in the courtroom. This is due to the fact that there was a designer bag for every heartbreaking tale, a money transfer for every violent incident, and a suite and a contract for every freak-off night. Therefore, rather than whether Diddy had too much power, the question was whether Jane was a victim or Diddy's favorite toy. He went crazy when he saw the news. He set up Instagram, posted a selfie of Daphne Joy, and captioned it with the year's most witty remark, "Hey, does anyone know who Jane Doe is? I'm trying to look into this." The message was removed within hours, despite the fact that screenshots of it went viral on TMZ and numerous hip-hop blogs. The conclusion seemed obvious. 50 was exposing her on the largest stage by utilizing her own words, not just making fun of her during a federal trial. Image. Followed by the second post in which 50 Cent and his son Sire famously left the camera, side-eyed and said, "WTF?" However, 50 was more than just memes. When he put together his AI squad, he released one of the most savage parodies hip-hop culture has ever seen. Freak Off Family Matters is a parody of the iconic sitcom opening, with Diddy, Cassie, Daphne, Young Miami, and all the other names associated with the Freak Off claims dancing to the tunes.
It's a rare condition this day and age to demand a freak off with so much rage. A stranger's addiction that you'll ever find. Some people say that he's losing his mind. Well, then there must be some magic juice inside the pleasure. 'Cause all I see is a chocolate thing. Man, they're busting over everything.
When it first became clear that Diddy and Daphne were more than just acquaintances, 50 Cent took a subtle but bold step in 2023 by casting Young Miami in his own SCOIAS. BMF, the Black Mafia family drama he executive produces. Most people believed it was only a partnership. Now we're finally seeing it for what it was. It's a hit job. You should think twice if you believe that 50 was jealous. Daphne continued to live in the mansion that Diddy had bought with monthly payments, and she was still bound by her love contract. Despite knowing that Diddy was having an affair with his child's mother, 50 decided to convert it into a streaming check. However, their most degrading role was saved for Father's Day. 50 shared this happy Father's Day little instead of a cute picture or a memory with his son. "I'll soon have complete custody. Tiny little. You'll quickly return to OnlyFans." Also troublesome because only months prior, 50 had asserted full custody of their son, Sire, because Daphne was involved in the Diddy case and her name was linked to the inquiry into sex trafficking. Wasn't being silent. In fact, by now the internet had nicknamed her, and her next move would backfire. Jane Doe is depicted in Daphne Joy's courtroom artwork. The strange receipts and the leaked testimony, every indication suggested that 50 Cent was the baby mama. And for a split second, it felt like she was drowning in it. Her response, however, wasn't subtle. She shared a personal slogan on Instagram that appealed to all age groups, an electronic yell. She made it clear that she wasn't taking this lying down by denying Lil Rod's claims that she was Diddy's hired prostitute, suing 50 Cent for slander and directly accusing him of raping and abusing her. "After all, you are no longer my oppressor, and God will now handle you."
Down. She denied Lil Rod's allegations. She denied being Diddy's paid escort, and she sued 50 Cent for defamation.
She explained to the jury that love bombing was a very common manipulation pattern that she would get from Diddy, where he would shower her with affection and then he'd want a hotel night. So she responded to him again saying, "I'm not an animal people can F on," and he responds with, "You're crazy." She said that he would call her crazy often, especially if she said she was...
And every time she requested something, whether it was money for her child's dental visit, a new couch, or anything else, she claimed to be aware that the cost would be her life. When she declined, we left her there. But Diddy suggested they just go to a movie and reminded her that the cameras were still there. Diddy continues to pay her rent. 50 Cent continues to post memes, and Young Miami continues to ride on the back of Diddy's bike, sobbing, testifying against one of the biggest names in music, and smiling like the queen of pandemonium.
So I'm just riding around the city, you know. riding around the city today. We just celebrating. We outside. We painting the city red. It's off the grid. The Love album, Off the Grid, coming out tonight. It's the Super Bowl of R&B. As y'all can see, I'm in my city. And I'm just feeling good. It's a celebration. Feeling glorious. Happy birthday to my brother Nas. It's his birthday today. It feels good to be home, good to be putting out great music. To all my R&B lovers and fans, tonight at midnight, it's gonna return to that frequency, that feeling, baby.
Because, despite the fact that everyone is pointing fingers and applauding, the true question is not, who is at fault?